Hi and welcome to the Geek Legion of Doom. This is a horror movie review and I'll be having a look at 2013's Nothing Left to Fear. And this movie claims it stars Heche, but I have to say she's only in it for a little more than a cameo. You've also got Clancy Brown here as well, who you may know from a variety of different genre films, most notably probably Highlander. Now, the basic premise here, a small family, obviously two adults and kind of their three children, a kind of older sort of teenage daughter, a kind of middle sort of age daughter and a young boy. They move to this kind of rural kind of community where the father is going to be this sort of new local pastor who is going to be sort of taking over from the sort of Clancy Brown's character. Little do they know this town's got a dark secret, and this town is actually the gates of hell, and Clancy Brown's character is the gatekeeper, and these people are basically kind of summoned there to ultimately be a sacrifice to these kind of these demonic forces, and this takes over one of the sort of children, who then kind of goes on a sort of killing spree to sort of sacrifice the remainder of the family. Now, I won't go too much more into the plot for fear of spoilers, but suffice to say, this is a bit of a lacklustre film. The main problem here is there's not a lot of context about what's actually going on. The director is a first-time director, but the real problem here is, I would say, the initial setup of the script. We're not really giving any information about why it is that these townspeople have to do this, or anything really, what the demon actually ultimately wants, or no information. So you kind of left sort of scratching your head with so many unanswered questions. The actual film moves along at quite a slow pace as well, I have to say. This is actually produced by Slash from Guns N' Roses fame, and his kind of mantra was he wanted to kind of get into making horror films that kind of harken back to the sort of 70s era films and kind of that kind of thing. A bit more of a sort of slower moving films that didn't rely too much on gore and special effects. But in doing so, it kind of makes it drag a little bit. The special effects that we do see are pretty good, and there's some quite interesting sort of dream sequences and kind of facial distortions. But to be honest, if you've seen things like sort of grave encounters and that kind of thing, you've kind of seen this sort of thing before. We've kind of got the jaw that stretches out, and the way they shot here, although it's relatively effective, it doesn't kind of have the same impact as some of these other films that kind of use a sort of similar technique, because they kind of linger on the shots a little bit too long, and I don't know, just the way that the lighting, stuff like that, doesn't really kind of have that much of a kind of scary factor to it. To be fair, this film is kind of a relatively average film. It's certainly not bad. I mean, all the performances are reasonably good. The effects are reasonably good. The actual location and things like that are all pretty good. But unfortunately, the actual story isn't all that gripping. There's some plot holes in it. I mean, for a start, no one seems to have mobile phones here. I don't know if it's meant to be set in the 80s or something, because no one has any mobile phones, no sat-navs, anything like that. So, I really don't know when this film is supposed to take place. So, I have to say I'm going to have to give this movie probably a 4.5 out of 10, slightly below average. It's not terrible. Go check it out. Let me know if you have seen it. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you thought.